For years, investors wanted access to the MLS. Well, it's finally here. Also, imagine having access to a system where they update their records daily. Wait till you see this. Here you have a new system called Connected Investors. For those who don't know, Connected Investors probably been around since about 2010, 2011. And they now have this platform that serves investors in a way we have never been served before, which giving us access to the MLS. This is what you're seeing when you log in. You know, you can complete your profile, build your team out, etc. If you want your team to have access to this. If you need to take a tour of the app, all you have to do is start now. If you want to add credits to your wallets to, you know, if you need to look at deeds, etc., to pull certain information, you can do that as well. Start a property search. Start a cash buyer search. You know, these are just your quick buttons. You can do it over here to the left as well. Also, you know, these are, you know, your save properties, property collaborations. What does that mean? Let's say that another wholesaler or somebody for your team say, hey, look at this property, let me know what you think, etc. Yeah, you can have your property collaborations as well. So if you're JVing with somebody with a property and you're like, okay, well, I'll go look at the property and work it, and I'll update it with the notes and everything, they can see it, which is a cool feature. This is pretty much everything else is self-explanatory, but these are your lists, all right? If you have lists saved through their system with download and everything. And in here, you got your cash buyers list, your hidden properties. But let's go down the property search because I want to show you how you can find these MLS deals. I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina, AKA Queen City, also known as Buzz City, all right? You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our filters. And before we go through our filters, right, to look for these properties on the multiple listing system, AKA the MLS, I want you to look at this number, 342,000. All right. Now, the thing about this particular number, these are people who are motivated and off market. I'm going to repeat, they are motivated and off market properties. All right, so you have that here, which is a cool feature. It doesn't show you everything in the city. It automatically gives you the data that we need as investors. Now, let's say you're looking for MLS properties, right? Properties listed on the multiple listing system. What you can do is you can go to filter. Now, they have access to the MLS nationwide. So don't think you just have to do this where you're at. No, it's nationwide, right? What I want to do is, because I want to show you all the MLS stuff. So I'm gonna put any here, okay? And then I'm gonna go on MLS, all right? And then I'm gonna do like people that's been on the market for 3 months or more, they'll probably be more willing, right? I'm not saying it's gonna work, but more willing to work with me if they've been on the market for 3 months and they're still sitting on the market. You know, that should tell you like, hey man, it's time to get serious about this. All right. So, and you can put keywords like, you know, motivated, selling quick, etc. You know. So I'm gonna go down here, right? I want to view the 1,400 properties that they have for me. All right. Now remember, this is on market. This is active. Okay. This is land right here. Now, you know they've been in the market for 90 days. They've been in the market 407 days on market. And so, you know, you can put your offer in. You know, you want to put a creative offer in, you can. So you have that option. So let's take a look at this property in Charlotte. All right, so this has been on the market for 118 days. I can get the zoning. I got the zoning right here for all my people who build properties, etc. You get the zoning, who wholesale land. You can tell your investor that, hey, it's zoned this, so confirm with the city what you can do with it, etc. So right here, I'm gonna go down to MLS, right? I'm gonna go down to MLS. Now it gives me more details, all right, what it's listed for and everything else. The description of it, it lets me know that this property is in an HOA, all right. Some investors will invest in the HOA, some will not, all right. Property, year built, 1997. The interior, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet. You know what I mean? So I got that information. This is extremely important. Utilities, sewer, and water is letting me know that. So now I don't even have to call down to the county to see if it has access to city water or city sewer. Because sometimes, you know, properties can be in a septic or a well. Not so much in your major cities, but when you're, you know, in rural areas or outside your major cities. Another thing about this neighborhood, they have the HOA fee. Now this is the HOA fee is $242. I don't know if that's monthly. I don't know if that's yearly, but that's the HOA fee. Now I don't know what's included in that, but I can find out later when I get this deal in the contract and get a good deal. All right, guys, listen. Now the system, it gives us the agent's name, the agent's phone number, all right? So like literally we have access to the MLS. We got the agent's phone number, okay? The license number, we don't necessarily need that. We have the office number and the office email as well if we need to hit him up and see what's going on with this property and if you want to make a deal on this particular property. You know, so we have the MLS history. We have the pictures. Let's look at the pictures. Okay, so this is like, looks like more so like a townhome community. All right. This is actually nice. It's just the market's slow right now. All right. So, you know, we got the pictures. We see that the is, you know, retail ready. But let's say that you're looking for a house for yourself and you like, well, it's been in the market for 118 days. They're asking for, you know, 275, man. Look at, let's see if we can get away with 225. You know what I mean? But anyway, check this out, right? This is another thing I like about it. They got like your calculators so that if you wanted to calculate your max allowable numbers and such, you can. You can put notes on this property so you like, you know, hey, talk to agent. Agent said X. You can put notes right here. See how it pops up? You know. Now, before putting notes on it, what this is telling you got to save this property first. So you have to save it to your list. That's if you are interested in this property. All right. And then you can put notes on it. From there, let me show you something else that's really cool about this system. Let's go to comps. All right. So now I'm at the comps of this particular property. Remember, I discovered this is a townhouse, so I want things that are near. But this is the property we're working on here. Perfect. These properties all look like townhouses, and they're all 0.2 or less away, it looks like. So these are great comps to use. But let me look at this one for 230. Let me see what happened with this one for 230. I'm gonna click on that and get some information from it. So now that I'm see the ownership information, this is actually was a person that they just got a good deal on the property. So they paid $230 in December. December is normally a slow time in real estate, so they just got a good deal on the property. All right. So I see that they just got a good deal because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't an investor. So I got that information that they got it for $230. It was a slow time in real estate. All right, so in December, everybody's focused on the holidays and they were able to come in and get a good deal. That's cool. Now, I have that information and I can call the agent and I can make my offer. Maybe, what if I call the agent and say, hey, listen, do you think your client will take $15,000 down and I make payments for 5 years and then pay them off? The agent might say, well, let me go talk to my client about it, or you might say, hey, put it on paper, send it over, I'll present it, you know. But you have all that access here now, right? It's literally here. And we have the comps and to these properties, because I don't know if you guys ever been through this, but you ever been in a town whereas like there's no sold comps, but there's active comps. So you gotta like guesstimate. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on? So when I say guesstimate, like, all right, well, there's been no sales in the year, but the properties are listed around 330. They've been in the market for 2 weeks, not too long. So one's under contract actually. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this property is at least worth, you know, $299. I'm gonna base my offer off of that because you want to be careful with the numbers. All right, so that's how you can get MLS numbers. Now, me personally, I don't wholesale off the MLS. Some people, that's their whole strategy. What I like to do, I just like to look at that data to see what's for sale, especially when as somebody who flips properties and buy rentals, because I want to see what's going on the market. I want to see what's on the market in that area, because that tells me like, all right, this area is coming up. So for example, let's say that there's closed sales for 200 and the last closed sale was 8 months ago, right? And that was for $200,000. However, people are starting to list for $299 and it's under contract. I can now see all that information with this particular system. Now, let's say that you as an investor is getting this deal. I can hit get funding right here, right? Get funding. And they ask me how much do I want to borrow. I want to borrow A. All right. Will this be for funding me used for a flip or rental? I want to use it for a rental because it's already moving and ready. And then they ask you just starting out. And then they'll ask you the range of your credit score. And then let's say you are here and then you hit continue, right? And it's like a matchmaking service, right? Just exit and don't say, but it's like a matchmaking service. Let me show you something. It's like a matchmaking service. And with the matchmaking service, they'll start matching you with lenders who fit your criteria and who will do this deal. So that way you can call a lender up and say, hey, listen, I got this deal. You're going to fund it, etc. So that's a dope feature. I've never seen that, but the lenders are like, this is literally like an all-in-one. So you can get your comps. All right, so look, right, check this out, baby. You need buyers? Hey, get your buyers, baby. Look, that zip code was 28269. You got 68 cash buyers. But let's say that you want, this is the people who bought in the last 6 months, so it's pretty active. They bought in the last 6 months. You want people who bought less than, because you're gonna be the property's worth about $275. You're probably gonna be wholesaling around, $200, $220 if this person had that motivation. So you want people that's around 300, that they bought around, they'll buy around 300,000 cash. This is a townhouse, so you want your townhouse buyers, and boom, you hit this right here. Now you got 8 people you can highlight, right? That say, hey, listen, you only need one yes. All right. Now you specifically got townhouse buyers who are okay dealing with HOAs and that and all of that, right? Because some investors will not deal with the HOAs, some will. It just all depends on the number. Then you just start calling people. Now, if you go to duruleads.com, you're allowed during your 7-day free trial, you're allowed 50 exports, okay, and or 50 skip traces. Now that means you can get their phone number and start calling these people. All right, but if you decide to stay on like I did, you are allowed 2,500 skip traces. So now you can really start working the business and getting in there. All right, this is like MLS access. Now here's another thing that I do like. All right, so we did the comps, but they got like calculators, right? The calculators are already built in. So let's say that the estimated value is $275,000. That's what we're gonna say that property is worth. It was 1,500 square feet. All right. Repair cost per square foot. That didn't need no repairs, really. So we're going to say $10. All right. And you want to make an assignment fee of what? $10,000, right? So as you see, your maximum allowable offer would be $167,000. Now that's your max allowable offer. Your low end 153, your high end 181. All right. So this is basing it off, what you need to sell for an investor. So it's already built in with your maximum allowable offer. All you gotta do is just type in the numbers. Okay. Remember this: if it's a lipstick job, $25 to $35 will get a lipstick job, meaning your cosmetic stuff per square foot. If it's a all-in, gut out everything, you're a higher end rehab, $35 to $60 a square foot, depending on how bad it is, right? This helps you out. You got your calculator here. All right, property. If you want to flip a property, you can fill this all out so they can go through your flip numbers. If you want to rent, fill this all out and they'll go through. But all that's built in. If you want to connect your team members, you can do that right here and such. You see, I got my boy all up in this. But yeah, like You can do your teams and everything else. But me and that guy was gonna JV on the property. Once you start saving your list, it'll be all up in here. So you have all that data. But listen, I wanted to point out that, yo, we can get MLS access directly. We know what sells in the MLS. We can get the pictures of rehab properties. So all my flippers, if you want to know, like, yo, listen, I'm about to buy this house. I want to see how nice they are doing a rehab. Hey, you have it here. You know, because sometimes I got to sit down with my realtor to see, hey, listen, I'm trying to push this price point. The house is in this price point. Send me pictures of what they're doing to the inside. So now I can get ideas of what I need to do to mine to get at that particular price point. So this takes that out. You can do so much with this particular software. Hey, listen, try it out. You know what I mean? You can go to duruleads.com. All right, duruleads.com to check it out. Again, you get 50 exports during your 7-day free trial. You also get 50 skip traces. I strongly recommend you keeping the system. Why? Because you are allowed, all right, 2,500 skip traces included in your subscription. That's just on the basic plan. So, hey guys, in the meantime, check out this other video on wholesaling step by step with this particular system. Is a game changer. Listen, I'm Nasser, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a guru because I actually do this business. Peace.